Okay, we are live for the Top Shelf Talk about fathers. Let's get it in. Let's add in the fam. Let's get it. And then we got to add in one more. Stressed out, and we're going to get into this talk. Whoa! Whoa, that's a lot of black at one time. What up, man? What up,
Love, baby?
How you feeling? How you be? How you is?
I feel like some Jesus therapy.
I see you in the hoodie. What's the word on the hoodies though? Oh, we got our third homie up in this piece. Oh,
like
he in the nugget
Florida.
up? He nugget it up?
They like that for, man.
So we just waiting for. I just sent Josh the link. We're just waiting for him to come through. How y'all feeling today, fellas?
Snitching out
Check
here.
in real quick.
You know, I move incognito. I'm good, man.
And Jeff, where you visiting us in the world today?
What you said, bro?
He said where I'm visiting at. I said Earth.
I'm trying to get Jeff on real quick. I said Josh. I'm sending him a request again.
That's just joining. Joseph Simon, sunny South Florida. It's not really that sunny actually right now. It's been raining.
I mean, that's messed up. I know we're both light skinned, but you called me Jeff.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, I ain't
you know
got
how
the
it
guns.
is, man.
I don't got the guns like that.
It is mad
yet.
light skinned kids on this.
Yes, too many light skins on this.
Black.
love
Black
it.
father. Okay.
I love it, man.
I love it.
I love it. Speaking
Yo,
of black dads,
Yeah, man.
Hey, Gabster.
Go.
She was being nosy, so you know what?
Right?
You said
what
why?
up, Gabs?
Jeff said why not?
Exactly.
Okay, y'all know we got to do this thing right?
Yes. Yeah.
We got to set it off. Let's pray.
There we go. Come on.
Okay.
Well, since we have Pastor Josh, let him lead the prayer.
Yeah, Josh, why not?
I
mean, come on, man. This is
You
Top
know,
Shelf over here. Of course I'm
throw
afraid.
some sauce on it.
All right, guys. Heavenly Father, we come to you in spirit and truth. We lift you up. We magnify your name. We just thank you for this time to share on this podcast. We thank you, Father God, that this podcast will be Christ-led. We thank you, Lord Jesus Christ, that you are here with us in this podcast. Let our tongues be saved as we speak, Father God. Let your will be in this place, Father God, with the topics that we're going to speak about. Let it hit homes in people's hearts. We thank you for all the dads around the world. We thank you, Father God, that this podcast is a platform to show that we are for you and the black dads are for you as well. We thank you, Lord Jesus Christ, for this opportunity to reach anyone that is watching at this time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Josh.
That's good.
Team winners in the building.
People in here. Let me wave at them real quick. You know, so first and foremost, we want to say, Josh, thank you for joining us today on this conversation on the characteristics of a black dad.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into it, the fatherhood talk. So, you know, Father's Day is what, like 5 days away, 6 days away?
This Sunday, yeah.
June 20th. I got it this time.
I'm looking at my calendar. I'm like, yo, it is in 6 days. Wow. I'm thinking a whole nother week.
I know it this time.
My question is like, Jeff, you ready? Josh, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I mean, you guys are not ready because I don't think you guys have kids. Do you guys have
Not yet. None that I know about.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Not that I know about.
Wow.
None that I know of.
Put on my tax.
Exactly. Matter of fact, I was going to ask Jeff, can I claim his daughter? Honestly.
A mother.
Because I need that. Yeah.
I remember taking her out to McDonald's.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I'm ready for Father's Day, man.
Fatherhood today, though.
Yo, before we jump in, have a mental check-in. How we doing, bros? Mm-hmm. Like, how we doing weekend or how we've been doing overall? A mental check-in from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Fred.
For me, so since I jumped on here, and jumped out the window, no, I've been doing amazing. Last week was a harder week. I felt like I wasn't getting enough sleep, but I got it all back. I'm fully vaccinated, and I'm ready to get to it. I'm ready to get to this work. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good. I say a 9.
Woo! Love it.
Okay.
I'm loving it. I'm gonna give myself my first time around, a 10. I'm giving.
Okay.
You reached death status.
Yep. I've been doing everything I'm believing, and it's no doubt in my head, and I've been just jumping in, and building more of being intentional of brotherhood. So I'm gonna give myself a 10.
That's awesome. What about you, Jeff?
10. 10.
I'm blessed. I'm here. So, it's always a 10. I try not to allow circumstances to change the fact of the matter that my presence and what God is continuing to do. So that's the reason why I always give a 10. I give myself a 10 because I make it through the day, no matter what challenges, no matter what I face, no matter what's going on. Some days are amazing. Some days is not so amazing. But I give myself a 10 because I'm alive and I have another chance the next following day to do the same thing. So, it's always a 10 with me.
That's great. And Josh, what about you, bro?
I give myself an adjustable 8.
Adjustable 8.
This is adjustable 8. I've been doing good, going back to work and stuff like that. Dealing with daddy issues, of course. But yeah, like I said, Jesus is still king, Jesus is still Lord. So as long as he got my back, as long as he's on top, as long as he's on the top shelf, right?
Hey!
I'm good.
I love it.
But let's get into this conversation, man. I was talking to my brothers, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, but I'm also thinking of questions of what I want to talk about more. But I realized there's not a lot of conversation about fatherhood. And one day myself and Fred are going to be amazing fathers. But it's not a blueprint that you can say because it's case by case. But I would love to I have 2 amazing fathers that's on this live at this moment. And I want to talk more about fatherhood. So in your own perspective, experience, thoughts, opinions, what is your definition of fatherhood?
My definition of fatherhood is, so you have dads, you have fathers, right? And I know a lot of times people would like to separate both because anybody could be, once you give birth, well, not give birth, but in a sense, as far as you are contributing to creating a child with someone, right?
Okay.
As a man, you're identified as a father, but the dad is more the role of quote unquote taking care of your child, basically being that father figure, basically being, one of the care providers for that child. So for me, fatherhood is really more of just stepping into that role of being a care provider for your seed, for your daughter, for your son, whatever which one you have, or if you have both. It's being a caretaker, it's being a provider, it's being a role model, it's being somebody that your child is able to look up to and identify as that, yeah, this is somebody who helped create me, but this is somebody who's actually helping me guide me through my next phase of life or every phase of my life as a father figure.
Awesome.
That's great. I like that. Joshua?
When I think of fatherhood, it's more than just a typical a person who provides for his children. It's more than just that. You have to be involved. There's a lot of involvement. You have to be involved with the child. Your children have to be able to depend on you. For certain things. It's not just about money, but depend on you to show up, to be there for the recitals, their birthdays. Being a father is more about empathy as well. Whether it be a boy or a girl that you have, being verbally expressive, being expressive, and compassion, all of that ties into being a father and fatherhood. I know some of us, as men, we want to be tough with our children, but being expressive with your words and being compassionate, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Being dependable is a very high thing, because your children are going to remember if they could count on you when they get older. When they're younger now, they're going to remember these things, what you do for them, what you don't. And I think if I could just go to the scriptures for one moment, right? Right?
His voice went up. Can I go to the scriptures one moment?
Right?
He said, let me go to the book.
For one moment. That's what I'll do. I'll say this. A good father leaves an inheritance for what? His children's children. So that means you have to leave an inheritance for your child and their children. That's what a good father does. That's fatherhood to me. So I'm setting myself up for a lot. Like when I'm a father, but I have to leave an inheritance for my children and my children's children. That's what a good father should aspire to do.
So what are the characteristics to get to that level?
Discipline. You have to discipline yourself. Your
Is
character.
that before or after you become a father?
It should be before. You should prepare yourself.
Okay.
There's a lot of books out there. I'm gonna be transparent. I didn't read any books on fatherhood. I didn't. The way I grew up, I didn't really have a father figure per se. I didn't have a father in my life and stuff like that. But in my heart, I always wanted to be a good father. And now here it goes either one way. You don't have a father, so you don't be a father. You have a father, so you want to. Well, sometimes when you don't have a father, you aspire to be that. And I always say, no matter what, I'm going to provide for my children. And my thought of providing is not just financially. It's the things that I just mentioned. Providing involvement, being compassionate, being, just attentive to your children. It's not just about the monetary value that you have, but you as a father can bring a lot of different type of values and instill values in your children. So it's not just about monetary. But to go back to your question, you have to prepare yourself to become a father, to be a father. In order to be a great father, good father, you got to prepare yourself.
How do you do that? Like, how do you prepare yourself? Because I don't know. Like, Fred and I are freshly newbies when it comes to being a husband, and there's not a husband 101 for dummies. So it's like, how do you prepare yourself? Because the only thing you can take from is yes, experience, and yes, people around you. Yeah. But I don't think there's like a book for how to be a husband.
I mean, it's not a book for
how
to be a
husband.
There is a book. I mean,
if you want to say it, there's a book called the Bible. Because that's the first example of many husbands that's in the that's an example of being a husband. But then it's like, wait, who can be my mentors as a husband, or who can be my mentors as a father? And should we have mentors as a father?
Yes, I believe we should. I totally believe we should. I mean, getting back to what you're saying, I agree. It's like, is it only the people around us like that we learn from? And it's, one thing that it says also in the Bible is that bring a child up in the way he should go. So once he gets older, he's not going to depart from it. So if you have those fathers in your life, those father figures that are showing you how it should be done, your own father, your grandfather, people that have children, and you'd be surprised, you can learn from women too as well. It's not just the men that you learn from on how to be a dad. It's the women as well that you learn from by experience, by seeing how mothers and fathers interact together with their children, how fathers act alone with their children. I would say the saying it takes a village to raise a child, I agree with that. Because that means that everyone is around teaching that child how to grow, how to be, So I would say, the Bible, this is my opinion, right? There's a lot of self-help books out there, but I would say mainly like who you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with good people that are good fathers that you can see. And their example will help you, will prepare you. So, how should I embrace fatherhood? Yeah.
I have so many questions, but I want to go. I have more questions, but I want Jeff to chime in this conversation. What's your thoughts?
I agree with everything Josh was saying, Pastor Josh. Is being present, being active. I mean, you can read all the self-help books because there are plenty out there, but if you're not intentional of being a father and being intentional as far as what you're trying to accomplish as far as being a dad, building a relationship, I think that's one of the most crucial and important things. Like with me and my daughter Gabby, we have a relationship, right?
Oh,
So that was one of the
relationship.
biggest things for me was from the time that she was born, it's like I'm gonna build a relationship with my daughter. So building that relationship, in my opinion, it makes it easier to be a father. And then when if she gets in trouble, she does something that I may not agree with, it's easier for me to discipline her because we have a relationship. There's a trust, right? When you have a strong relationship with somebody, a strong bond, trust becomes such an easy foundation to have and continue to establish, right? Because kids don't want to disappoint their parents, right? They really, really don't. And the moment they feel like, okay, I disappointed dad or mom, they're like, man, they bother. So they try their best, but they also know if they fail, if they drop the ball, that my dad still loves me or my mom still loves me. So to me, it's that relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That relationship stems from open conversations. That relationship stems from being present, being active, doing things with them, making them feel that I can go to my mom and dad about anything. But I know if my dad says no, that's no. I may try it, still says no. So to kind of go back, that you could read all the self-help books all you want,
The
because there's
fact.
self-help books for everything, to be honest, and they're helpful. I'm not knocking them, I'm not taking those away, but it's what is your intentions? You know what I'm saying? Are you intentional? It's like you're coming into this like, I have a child now, I want to be a great dad. Okay, if you come with that intention that I'm going to be a great dad, I want to be a great dad, even if I didn't have a father, right, or I didn't have any positive male figures, I'm coming in with the intentions of being a positive role model to my child, being a great dad. I think what's going to happen is you got to allow yourself to be led in the spirit, but also just be led to like, I'm gonna love my child, I'm gonna pour into my child, I'm gonna do everything
Wow.
that I can to make sure that my child has the best future. And everything that I'm gonna work 2 jobs if I have to make sure they got a roof over their head, food on the table. You're gonna make sacrifices because that's what a parent is. You gotta sacrifice. It's not about you anymore. It's not about what I want, what I need. It's about what does my child need first. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? If I gotta starve so my child can eat, then I'm gonna starve. Again, what is your intention? What is your intention as far as being a father? So that's just my personal opinion when it came to fatherhood. I didn't read any self-help books. I just came with the intention like, I have a beautiful daughter who's here, so my intention is to be the best father figure that I can be, even when there was times that I felt that I failed, or I felt that maybe I could have done this a little bit differently. But my intention was to keep on being that great dad to her, and she recognized that. And that's what she really cared about.
Should fathers ask other fathers for help and how to better be a father?
Of course, definitely.
Yep.
You're not gonna
Think
have
so?
all the answers.
Yeah. See, sometimes men, we want to do things ourselves. You know what I mean? We like to build things ourselves.
Talk
Jesus
about
was a
it.
carpenter, right? Jesus was over the carpenter. He was building things by himself, but I mean, he had 12 disciples, right? He had help.
This is true. This is true.
He had help.
This is true.
Yeah, and I like what Jeff is saying. Be intentional.
Mm.
So if you're intentional, you're gonna ask other people for help. I don't know. I can't get over this. This thing. I don't know how to handle this. What would you do, Jeff? What did you have a child? What did you do? Did this situation ever come up? That's asking for help. You don't have to use the words, "Oh, help me, I'm drowning," but you can say, "What would you do?
Yo, hey,
How
yo,
could
bro,
you get?"
like, yo,
You
pull
know?
up. Like, y'all know what
Like,
you're doing, going crazy.
Like, what would you do
Yeah.
if your son was at home crying alone
Right.
on the bedroom floor because he's hungry?
How did I know?
Oh my goodness! Oh, wow. Oh my goodness!
I was like,
Wow.
I had to, man. You kept
He
saying,
had
what
to.
would you do?
Yo, I knew. Yo, I felt it. I was like,
You knew it.
Yo, Fred, sing a song right now. It was a good. Now,
no, but
tell Fred you sing that song. I need us to chime in now. Like,
yeah.
do you have a fear of being a father?
Do I have a fear of being a father? A little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I won't lie.
Okay.
It's there a little bit, just because, hanging around my nephews, now seeing how they're developing and growing. It's like from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, I remember holding them, as little boys, little babies, little bitty sacks of, I used to call them a sack of potatoes because they're so small, little bag, and then now they're talking back to me. They have girlfriends, they driving, they doing all this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, I remember like it was yesterday. You were just taking your first steps. How did you get to this part? This other part before my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that's kind of, and they still listen to me. They still grasp what I have to say, but you can make mistakes in front of them, and they interpret that as like, I'm gonna carry that, and that's how I'm gonna make mistakes.
Well, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that I think scares me as a father. Another thing is, like, my father wasn't present, so I didn't get a lot of those kind of father moments that you're supposed to have with your son. So I'm kind of building those things by looking at other dads and doing research and stuff like that. Ultimately, I'm looking at Jeff. I'm looking at Josh. I'm looking at these other fathers for guidance. My brother, my older brother. So it is scary. What about you, Aaron? You fear? You scared?
I might not pronounce this word right, but I'm petrified.
Nah, you got it.
I am petrified. Wow. But I know I'm gonna be an amazing father. And I think right now I'm intentional building brotherhood because I'm intentional asking for help. Like, I'm literally not afraid to ask for help. And I think I want to normalize asking for help. And asking for help is not I'm weak. I'm asking for help because I do not know it. And yes, I'm going to navigate as a father or as a husband, but I want to make sure that I'm having a conversation around fatherhood. And even down to the kids seeing other fathers having conversation and having dialogue. We also can pass on informational thoughts. So if I'm showing my other brother how to love each other, my kids are going to see that. So they're going to know that this is a community of love. This is a community of trust. But one thing that's very important, that this is a community of information.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that's going to be so important in regards to me, not just building my community, but normalizing a behavior that we need to establish in our community. So when we talk about the characteristics of a father, it's not just himself, but it's like, yo, who's the other people in the village? Who's the other chiefs in the village? Are we coming together as board members? How can I invest in you? How can we invest in each other? So I think we have to keep on learning how to invest in each other, not just as fathers, but as men.
Yeah, no, I agree. And something I wanted to impart to Josh and Jeff, like, I can understand, like, maybe there wasn't a manual, I mean, we have the Bible, definitely, which is the voice of God. But, like, what about when your baby's crying in the middle of the night and then nothing is helping? Like, and she just won't stop crying. And you like, yo, I need to get some sleep. I have work at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Where's the Bible verse for this?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
The Bible verse is
verse 101.
I'll tell you sometimes what the Bible verse is. You take your child out, put him in the car, drive around until they fall asleep.
Yo, do you have any music?
That's true, man. That's true.
Like my neck, my back. What type of music you listen to?
Whatever you have to do, man. Like, whatever it goes back again. Sacrifice, man. You're gonna sacrifice sleep. You're gonna sacrifice time. You're gonna go the extra mile to make sure your child's good. So when your child's middle of the night crying, And I know that Pastor Josh could relate to this, or most fathers who are listening can relate to this. It's going to happen. And listen, like you're literally feel like, man, yo, I'm going crazy. This child would not go to sleep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. I don't know what to do. So
Read a Bible verse.
you gonna do what you gotta do. Hop in the car, drive around,
what about
hold them up. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is needed, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna require for that child to hopefully be able to fall asleep, man. It's real. It's real out here, man. It really,
right?
really
It's
is,
real in the
man.
field.
Bible
But I
verse.
wouldn't
Y'all want a
change it
Bible
for the
verse?
world.
Y'all want a Bible verse? Be still.
My question, I got another question for you guys.
Name of Jesus.
So,
There you go.
Be
I'm
still.
speaking in tongues over your child. That's right.
hey,
I'm speaking in tongues of your child. Get that anointing oil. Put it over their head. That's it.
yeah. And if all else fails, knock them out.
I bind the spirit of sleeplessness. Right?
Oh,
That's the word.
No,
They don't
let's
have
go
no
a step
NyQuil for kids.
If we go a step further, right, y'all, to the fathers, to Jeff and to Josh, like, let's go a step further. What about when your daughter comes to you and she's older and she's like, Dad, I just heard something about babies. Where do babies come from? What does that look like?
Actually, I had that question maybe 5-6 months ago.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my daughter. She
Your
asked me
daughter
that
already
question.
asking you that question?
Yeah,
Oh my God,
we
yo,
was
listen.
driving.
Wow.
We was driving. We was coming back from the city, and we was driving back from the city, heading home. So I had took her to the city, and we driving back home. She popped that question. She's like, "Daddy, where does babies come from?" I said, when two people get together, they make love, and boom, baby pops out." She was like, but then she asked me like, "What's love?" I said, "You'll find out when you get older," and that was it,
bro.
What's love?
Now,
Older, right?
I gotta ask you this question,
love.
bro. Did you feel uncomfortable when she was asking that question?
I didn't feel uncomfortable. I was just trying to figure out the best way to answer it. That's the thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because me and Gab, we have very open conversation. What's up, Crystal? But we have open conversations. But the thing is, like, it's okay. How can Gabby understand that she's still 9 years old? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say like, yeah, you know, when two people are getting it on and banging each other out, pause. You know what I'm saying? And like next thing you know, a child comes out.
There's no pause in that. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I wanted to somewhat kind of break it down. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is how babies come.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's what it is. I mean, when I had got that question, you know, with 9-year-old, you know, actually that question, but she understood though. She understood, so it was all good.
Yeah. After they married.
My daughter's 7. My daughter's
That
7
in there
years
with two.
old.
I did put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Preferably, you know.
And
but
she hasn't asked that question yet. My daughter hasn't asked me that question yet.
She hasn't asked it?
No, they had it before they got married.
Yeah. But for me, if my daughter's asking questions like that, that means she's getting information from somewhere else. You don't want to not give her an answer and for her to go to someone else to get the answer because they may not give her the right answer.
Let's talk
about that. If my daughter's asking me about sex, if she's asking me about this, that means she knows something. That she knows that like she's finding out a little bit. So I gotta be the one to tell her this is how it is. This is what your dad is telling you. I gotta if she's asking me at 7 what sex is, I have to talk to her about it. Because if I don't get to her first, the world will.
Definitely. Let's talk about that. And if guys
ignoring those conversations, a lot of parents will ignore those conversations, be like, you know, I'm not going to teach my kids or have that conversation, but you need to, because like he said, they got to go somewhere else and they got to get the wrong information.
Yeah. Hey, yo, check this out. So I had a friend of mine tell me, he was like, yo, my son turned 13 or 14 and he started asking questions about a lot of different things. And he was like, oh, well, he started asking questions about liquor. He started asking questions about substances and all that stuff. He said liquor and all this other stuff. So he said he told his son and everything like that. He would say he was the first person to have a drink with his son, so that the world wouldn't do it first, you know, because he said the world is going to, you know, introduce him. But he said he waited until he was like, you know, a little older than 13, of course. But he was like, when he hit, I think 18, is when he had his first drink with his son. And he was like, I'm doing this so the world don't put you on to a different version of this and you pass out somewhere, you get ran over, or something happens to you where your brain won't function, end up in the hospital, so on and so forth. What do y'all think about that? Because I said that in terms of Josh's questions, like you filling your kids in and then going that next step with your children.
Yeah. I feel like you guys know Celeste?
Yeah.
Her husband, I forget his name.
Terrence.
Terrence. And he told me something that was dope. He was like, he said the same thing. He had his first drink with his dad. His dad had, alcohol in the house. And at any time, if he wanted a drink, he could get a drink, right? He said, and the reason why I didn't go out there and drink and like think it was like, it's something to do is because when my friends wanted to do it, he was like, I got that at home. I don't have to like go out and get drunk with you guys. Like I can do that. Like it's not that serious. Like his father put it in a way whereas alcohol was not something that he would need to go to the world and do and get drunk behind his back. But he was like, if you get a drink or two, we're not getting drunk, but it's there. It's not something that, oh no, you can never do this. And so now you go behind your dad's back and try to experience this.
So it's not something that you would abuse.
Exactly. It's not something that you would abuse or try to experience this because you've already experienced this type of thing with your dad.
With your dad.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, I would say for me, if my daughter came to me and was like, and I had a drink in my hand, she's like, oh, what's that? She's of age or older. And she wanted to taste a little bit, I'd give her some.
And what is of age? Just want to make sure we...
For me, I would say like 12, 13.
Oh, you gave her a Henny at 12, bro?
I mean, give her a little Henny.
West Indian house, on the West Indian household, like
mandated reporter on this. He is not giving.
I don't really listen. I'm not a drinker anyway. I don't really drink like that. Like I'll drink like a Mike's Hard or like a strawberry daiquiri type. I'm a little sour, but like I was never like. I was never like
with some ice and stuff like that.
I was never like off the Henny.
Not no Grand Marnier.
Nah, it was never like that. My vice was food. My vice was food. I was never out there drinking. I was a foodie. Like I love to eat. You leave like some cake around me, I'm gonna eat it.
You say leave some oxtail?
Yeah.
But if we switch gears, okay, what about the fight talk? Like fighting with other kids at school. How do y'all school y'all daughters on that? Because this is something I've always wondered, like, how do you have a fight talk with your kids? Like, he hit me or she hit me. Like, how does it? Jeff,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let Jeff talk.
Let's really have this conversation because as an educator, I always hear the kids like, my mom and daddy told me that it's okay to hit the other kid. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Now, if it's my son, I'm active.
That's how I grew up. My parents always told me. If somebody hits you back, so I teach the same thing to Gabby. Don't be a bully. You know what I'm saying? So don't try to pick on kids and bully kids or anything. But if somebody is bullying you, somebody hits you, you hit them back. You give them a warning. Don't hit me. That kid doesn't listen. You hit them back. Go to the teacher. Let them know. You know what I'm saying? So.
But what if Gabby like lays her out? Like lays her out. Like,
she give her the elbow. Boom.
Yes.
Like
I watch
she
wrestling.
put a girl to sleep.
Wait.
Yeah, I watch wrestling. So give her that elbow drop. Give her the Stone Cold Stunner. Listen.
Right, hit him with the left. I'm saying don't hit Gabby. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Mind your business, keep it pushing. Mind your business, keep it pushing. That's it.
Yeah.
She hit you with that 1-2 combo with a biscuit.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what about you?
What it is?
My daughter was in school one day, right? And this kid kept throwing stuff at her, like throwing stuff in her face, like hitting her with things. She told him to stop. You get a warning. You get a warning. Stop.
A verbal warning.
Stop hitting me. Stop assailing me. Stop it. Right? Kept doing it. So now what does Caitlin do? She does it back. Here you go. I'm gonna give you back what you're giving me because you won't stop. That is self-defense. I believe in that. And then what happens? The teacher catches Caitlin. Oh, what are you doing? And like Caitlin gets like in trouble. But when she got home, she told me the situation. I was like, I'm proud of you because you defended yourself.
Yeah.
You don't let nobody just walk all over you or
no rap with me.
you tell them to stop. You don't go out and look for fights. You don't.
Yeah.
But I believe in self-defense, all right? I want to raise a generation of Peters, all right?
You want to raise generation of what?
Peters. You know what Peter did.
Cutting people's ears
you know what Peter did. He had a machete. He was Caribbean. Peter was Jamaican. He had the machete. All right? He had it. He was there.
Peter was a yachty.
You know, Jesus fixes ear. You're like, I put the ear back on for you.
He said he raising Peters out here. Yo, do you guys have emotional check-ins with your kids?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I even talked about that on episode 10. If you guys have not checked it out, listen to episode 10 featuring my beautiful daughter Gabby. But yeah, I always ask Gabby all the time, like, how you doing? Are you okay? You know, what's her mental state of mind? How's she feeling? And Gabby gets annoyed with it because I do ask her that question quite frequently. But she knows my intentions. Again, back to word intentions. My intention is to be a great father, to make sure I pour love into her. So part of that is asking how she's feeling. So if there is something that's bothering her, if she's not happy, if there's something that she feels she has anxiety, whatever it is, I know what it's about. We can have the conversation, and obviously I can help her feel much better, whatever it is. Plus, for me, what it does is it lets her know, again, that I could come to my dad about whatever it is. If I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling down, I can have a conversation because my dad does care about how I feel.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Gabby, is he telling the truth?
She's popping her
head. What about you, Joshua?
I always ask my daughter, I always tell my daughter, you can talk to me about anything.
Okay.
And I say that to her often as well. And she gets annoyed, so I can relate to Jeff. Every day I ask her, how was your day? What did you do? How are you feeling? And she's just annoyed. And I had to sit her down and explain to her, Caitlin, this is the reason why I'm asking you. I need you to, understand that I'm not trying to be annoying, but I want you to be able to talk to me about anything. Don't be afraid to say anything you want to, even if it's something bad, even if it's something that I did. I tell her, if I did something to you, talk to me about it. I want her to be able to come to me and confidence and feel like it's a safe place to tell her dad anything.
It's
so
very
yeah,
important.
like just said, she might get annoyed when I ask her every day, but she understands why. And periodically I'll just follow up again. Caitlin, this is the reason why I'm asking you, because I care and I love you, and and I want the best for you. And I want to know if you're okay. He understands.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have to act, especially if you are in a situation where you're not able to be around your child every day. Like in my situation, I'm not always around my child every day. So, but I speak to her every day, and I want to know if I miss something, if I miss 12 hours, if something happened, tell me what's going on.
Absolutely.
So.
Yo, this is a great time to let you know, bro. Thank you for showing up for your daughter. And
I
appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
Definitely. And we like to have like barbershop talks as well. How do you feel at this moment, like not being there all the time?
Because you want to be there all the time. Like with me, my daughter's in a different state, so I have to travel out to actually see my daughter. So I'm not with her every day. I'm not with her every week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The good thing about it, which I'm very grateful of, that we're still just as close. We're BFs. Like, that's my homie, like you can see, right?
Look alike.
But it is hard. It is hard, like, because there's days where I'm like, man, I really, really, really miss my daughter, but I have FaceTime. We have technology where I could just hop on my iPad or my iPhone, whatever it is, and FaceTime. We could talk, and it still feels like she's there, but it doesn't replace, of course, spending that quality time with her. So it's not something that's easy, and I don't think something's ever going to get easy, but at least that there are ways that, we make it work. And of course, when we do have our time together, like we have our time now for the summer, we make the most of it. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot of, activities. We spend a lot of time. We really try to just dedicate that time, for me and her, and of course anybody else as well. But we make sure that we make the most of it. So when she goes back home, she has those memorable moments, and she knows like, yo, listen, my dad, he's here and he's spending time with me, and we're doing so many different things, and we're enjoying each other's company. Until the next time, it's gonna be the same thing again. If I can hop on my iPad, FaceTime my dad anytime I need, even if it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, because this time she's done that. 1 o'clock in the morning, she'll hit me up, and we'll talk. You know what I'm saying? Until I fall asleep. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
What about you, Joshua?
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's a little hard for me, you go from being in the house with your daughter every day to seeing her on weekends. Like it's and we have a great time together when we're together. But it's very difficult when like you wake up and you're not able to see your daughter, or make breakfast for her, go get breakfast, or even sometimes we're like, okay, I want to see my daughter, and then it may not be the best day for that, or something may come up, with her mom, and I'm gonna have to drop her off. Usually we sleep in the same bed together. We bond and stuff like that. And then when I drop her off, it's fine. When I get back home, then she's not there. It's almost like I already miss her. It's like almost like
it kicks in.
It can be hard. You can get choked up, and you can be put in a position where you're like but it's fine, because that's all in fatherhood. You should have that emotions for your children. You should want to be there. You should be a little bit upset that you're missing some of the time with her, because that's your child.
What motivation would you give to that person that's going through the same thing that you're going through?
It's not always going to be like this. And the reason why I say that is because your child does get older. Your child will be able to make decisions for themselves. You will have more time with your child the older that your child gets. Spend and make the best out of it now, though. You don't want to wait till she gets older.
Wow, that's no good.
You want to strive to spend as much time as you can now with your children, because that's what's important. That's what your children are going to remember. They're going to remember the build-up. So it's not you're going to be empty for now and then wait until this opportune time. You have to take every opportunity. And I'll just give you an example of going back from the beginning, we talked about like good fathers and great fathers, and it's not just about financial. And quick story. So I put my we're putting out Kate in the swimming class, and like it's one of those things where, okay, fine, you should go in the swimming class. Now, although a parent might pay for it, the swimming class, and then you just send her off, and then you see the pictures and the video of her swimming, it's different from you actually showing up and being there. I had to be like, okay, yeah, although I may have paid money for the being swimming class, I should still be there. You don't just pay the money and sit back like I did my job. You have to support.
Show up.
You have to show up.
Show up.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be like, I got to still be there as well. It's not enough, as I was saying, just to be monetarily there. It's not enough, because she's not going to know you paid. You don't tell your children your financial dispute. You don't do that. She's going to remember if you were there. So
you was present.
I had to be like, oh snap! I had to think, oh, I got to show up. I got to be there. It's not just enough to, pay for this. You got to be there. So it's like, it's like one of those things where that's another thing that I was like, no, a lot of people say, Josh, you're doing good. You're doing well as a father. But, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I should have known that. I got to do better,
Bro, do you believe when people tell you that? Hold on, real quick. Do you believe when people tell you that you're doing a good job?
I mean, I do. It's sometimes it's hard for you to be like, to take the praise. It's hard for you to receive the praise that people say, but as your children are looking at you, so are the people. So if I was doing a horrible job,
somebody gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Somebody
yeah. Oh, you got that shirt on. You sure? You got this shirt on.
You a dope black dad that might need some Jesus and therapy.
That's it.
But definitely, yo.
You mean delusional?
And you might be going to the happy hour. You might be going to a happy hour. That's
Tequila? Jeff, what you talking about over there? What you thinking?
I just want to add that you don't take those moments for granted as far as like, because there's dads who don't have a relationship with their kids and they live around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Or even in the same household, they just like, listen, my child's there. I just want to just make money, make sure the food's on the table, roof over that, and that's it. They don't even really have a real relationship. You hear that often, like, yeah, my dad was present, but he really wasn't present. You know what I'm saying? Which means that I lived with my dad, but he just wasn't present. So you just don't want to take those situations for granted. And like he said, it's temporary. So if there is any dads that's out there that's listening where they don't live with their child's in another state, another city, whatever it is, they're not see their children every day. Because the older the kid gets, the more they're able to drive, the moment that they're old enough to kind of go out on their own, you could take advantage of those times. But currently, right now, keep being active, keep being present, use the FaceTimes or whatever,
anything,
Zoom, anything that you
anything.
anything that you have to communicate with your child, and just continue to be intentional. Again, intentional, building that relationship, and it will follow because kids, they understand. They don't really care about how much money you spend or how much money you give. Just like you said, I love that example. They care if you were present. They care like, okay, were you there? You know what I'm saying? And that's what they look at. That's what they focus on.
right.
Wow. What's going on, Top Shelf Village? We are just talking about the characteristics of father. So far, I'm learning because I'm not a father yet, but one day I'm going to be an awesome father. But I have two mentors right now that said being a good father is empathy, discipline, compassion, having a great mentor, relationship, trust, patience, and it's being present. So if you want to add in the chat how to be a good father if you are a father at this moment or a future father, ladies, please help me. I need some help. So please, once again, you can subscribe to our podcast, but also hit the like button to make sure that you are just giving us an opportunity to be a conversation, be a community. But we'll be having this every Monday at 6 p.m. So let's jump back in. Just wanted to get that plug real quick.
And I wanted to say, so to the fathers, what is y'all ideal Father's Day gift for this Sunday? What would it? If y'all could have anything in the world right now as fathers, like what would be your ideal Father's Day gift?
A PS5. No, I'm joking.
Now he's serious.
I'm joking. I'm serious, right?
He said I'm joking, but I'm for real.
I'm serious. You know what? You know what? For me, a Father's Day gift is my daughter creating a card, creating it, from like
organically
or whatever, or just like she gets the, the oak tag and creating it, and going out for Slurpees. That's what me and my daughter do on Father's Day. We go out for Slurpees. That's just what we do. So it's kind of like, it's like a tradition that I've set. Like, I need to see my daughter on Father's Day so we can go get Slurpees. Or, or some ice cream or whatever. That's just what we do. And if she gives me a penny with my initial on it, I'm keeping that penny forever. It's just the thought that counts and that she honored me as her father. It doesn't have to be a lavish gift. It's just, I want to spend time with her on that day, and whatever she has to give, I'm accepting.
He still wants PS5 though. But okay.
But an PS5, yeah, I'll be good.
What about you, Jeff?
That's it. I mean, I'm not big on gifts. I really don't care for gifts. So, same thing. Gabby could just grab a piece of paper and say,
Gabby, you hear this?
Dad. And I'm cool. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as I'm with her, we hanging out, then I'm cool, man. That's all I really need for Father's Day. Just that time. And I'm blessed that I'm able to have that with her this Father's Day. We're going to spend time together. We normally do anyways, besides last year because of COVID. But this year we're going to be able to spend Father's Day again, and just having it is good with me, man. That's all I need, to be honest.
We asked this question. We asked this question on episode 10. And please, guys, listen to episode 10. Amazing, Gabby. Amazing.
Also, episode 9 on Father's Day as well.
Yes.
Check that out.
How do we celebrate fathers more? Normalizing it. How do we celebrate it? Not just on June 20th, but 365 days. How do we do that?
Shout out to fathers. Just recognize that they're just as important as moms. You know, just as important as being a caretaker. Because, you know, kids need their dads. Just like kids need their moms, they need their dads too. So just recognizing a good father instead of just, you know, I think like with society, especially as Black dads, that there's this thing that gets pushed that Black dads are not active, they're not there, they're
Black and
deadbeats.
brown.
Black and brown. But Black dads, you know, we don't get as much love, right? So it's just recognizing that there are great dads just out there. They're a great father, even if they're not with the mother of their child. There's plenty of amazing dads that goes above and beyond to take care of their kids and being an amazing role model. So just recognizing that, you know, just normalizing that Black dads exist. Brown dads exist, white dads exist, all dads exist. There's amazing dads all across the spectrum of the world, and just giving them their flowers too, just like we give flowers to the amazing mothers that's out there as well.
Oh, I love the person that give them their validation. Let the fathers know you appreciate. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
That's Jeff's fam.
Oh yes, I see there's some more.
Right?
There's some more.
So we in the building.
There's some more. Y'all be having wisdom for days.
Oh, another one. We got another one that came in. It said, absolutely, we dads are here and active. We get a bad stigma, but there are many dads handling their business.
I love Young J, 85, man. I appreciate you, man, for giving an honest thought.
Yeah, and same question for you, Josh.
How can we celebrate dads more? The first thing we're going to do is let them have their day. Okay? Listen. Let them have their day. All
Talking to Mike.
Okay?
Yo, can you just say that
and
one
not
more
just
time
their day
for the
court.
people in the back?
Yes, let them have their day. Listen, this Sunday. All right? I don't want to see, I would not like to see Happy Father's Day to all the single mothers out there. I don't want to see that.
Ooh.
I want to see you guys
I
want to see you guys give the fathers their credit that are active in their children's lives, that are trying to be active in their children's lives.
Yes.
We celebrate fathers by letting them see their children.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Let them have their day.
Let them have their day. Let them have their children. We celebrate fathers by building them up. Words of encouragement. You know, encouragement. You know, showing them honor, acknowledging the things that they do. You know, for their children. You know, all the time, not just on Father's Day. You know, but all the time. Let fathers know, yeah, you do matter. Because one thing that is said is, and the reason why I brought that up, I'm going somewhere with it. I had a conversation with somebody at work, and they were like, oh, yeah, Father's Day is going to be for the mothers. You know, there's a lot of single mothers out there who are playing both roles. And I try to break it down like this. I said to her, I am not doubting that you are the only one taking care of your child. But I said to her, there are things that you can instill in your child as a mother that fathers can't. And there are things that fathers can instill in a child that mothers cannot. So you cannot tell me that you're playing the role as a father if you're not a father. Absolutely. You cannot be a father because you're a mother. And a father can't be a mother because he's a father. This is why we need both parents to instill things in their children. Because if you have just a mother, it's going to be one-sided. If you have just a father, it'll be one-sided. So we need both to come together and instill things in their children. So there's no way that I can be a mother on Mother's Day, and there's no way you can be a father on Father's Day. Yeah. Let you have your Mother's Day. I will have my Father's Day. But we have to allow the fact that there are good fathers out there, and we as fathers can instill things in our children that mothers cannot, and vice versa. There's no hate. I'm not trying to, you know, get on the bandwagon. There's no, you know, I agree.
That's your thought. That's your perspective.
And mothers do matter. It was because of a mother that Jesus was born to this earth. But fathers still matter. You know, fathers still instill things in their children as well.
Like, what about Joseph? What about Joseph?
Exactly. Like, he don't get talked about. You don't get talked
He don't
about.
never get talked
You know what
about.
I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he was there
Talk
raising
about
Jesus.
Mary.
I'm pretty sure he was there.
Did you know?
Let me ask you a
All
question.
that.
Let me ask you a question. How do you think Jesus became a carpenter? Did he learn that of himself? Like, was Joseph there helping him? Was Joseph showing him how to cut the wood? I mean, I know he was God. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You're just being
Yo,
honest.
Josh, man, you gave some gems. You gave some. Woo! Thank you again for just coming on and having a conversation with us, man.
I just want to read
But
this last part from
Fred got another
Rings of
thought.
More. It says it's the concept of yin and yang. It's an important to have both sides. Both sides matter. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Rings of More 3. Like, you got to have a balance, the equilibrium. Parents. That's why it's called parenting. Parenting. Mom, dad. You need both sides.
Yep, I agree.
And I want to ask another question on that because, how do you have that yin and yang when there's no yang?
When there's no yang,
man, you just still do your
how do you
part.
have salt when there's no pepper? You know what I'm saying? How you have peanut butter when there's no jelly? Things I want to know. Kool-Aid when there's no sugar. Like, ham with no burgers.
I feel like I know I had a conversation with Jeff a couple a month or two ago, I believe. And we were all talking, and we were talking about our father and stuff like that. And I did not grow up with a father, right? So, but I had like mother figures in the house, but I didn't really have a father figure. It is not until really that I met one of my close friends, Pastor Patrick and Pastor Maurice, that they instilled in me certain things as far as how to be.
Maurice team winners.
As far as how to be like a man. And so these things I learned in my 20s. So what I'm saying is that even though I didn't have that stuff when I was younger, you can always have a mentor that can mentor you if you don't have a father. You can always have a mother that can mentor you if you don't have a mother. So even if you have a yin but no yang, you can still have a mentor that can become your yang, that can instill things in you. And it won't, and we always have our Heavenly Father, who is our Father, that can lead us and guide us in the right way.
Love it.
So
I love it. Okay, so fellas, we coming to a close because Instagram is reminding me you have 2.5 minutes.
Instagram.
You have 2. So as we bring this to a close, this amazing conversation about fatherhood and the father characteristics, what's the last thing y'all have to say to the fathers out there? Jeff, you go first.
Dad, don't allow society to define what you should be as a dad. Go to the word, go where God calls you to be. As far as being a dad, being a father, circumstances are going to take place, things are going to happen, but our kids depend on us. Just keep doing what you're doing. You are great. You are amazing. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I just want to salute to all the dads that's out there, man.
Okay. And what about you, Josh? Last words?
Any last words? There's a reason why they call him Heavenly Father. It says in the book of Ephesians that be imitators of Christ as his children. So if you follow Jesus, I believe that you'll come out, you'll be a good father, because he is a good father, right? So even if you don't know what to do, if you turn to him, your fatherhood will be on point.
I hear you. I think Anthony's back on the couch. So
he moved. That's a nice painting. That's a nice painting. Did you do that?
Hey, Josh, you want to plug anything before we get up out of here? Josh is an amazing photographer. He just did my headshots. He did our promo shots for Top Shelf. Definitely. You want to plug something, Josh?
Yep. Just Josh Photography 1. Just Josh Photography 1. I'm actually going live on this page. If you guys need any photos, just hit me up, or hit any one of these 3 gentlemen up, and they'll direct you to me. Affordable pricing and things like that. So, and I do good work.
Hey, oh yeah, he does amazing work. Shout out to a father photographer.
Father photographer.
No, I'm saying,
but once again, make sure you listen again to the podcast, Top Shelf Podcast.
Absolutely.
Friend, tell somebody, tell the family. We will be on this live every Monday. Every Monday, talking about just life in itself.
Yeah. 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Make sure y'all tune in. Conversations, Top Shelf Talk.
And if you have any thoughts or what do you want to talk about, come to DM. Ask questions. Talk to us, please.
Slide in the DM.
If you want to join the conversation, hit us up.
Slide in the DM.
Not my DMs. Not Anthony's DMs.
DM.
Top shelf.
Like the Lord said to all fathers, you got this.
You got this. Happy Father's Day to y'all. Right. Happy early Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day. Salute.
Say no more.
Merlinda said more great conversations about fatherhood. She wants to hear more. Yeah, definitely keep tuning in.
Yeah, more
in store. Thank you so much, Josh, for joining us. We appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, anytime. All right, guys. You have a good one.
Y'all too.
Bye, Gabby.
Bye, guys. Jeff Jr.
Look at this, like an old dad. How you log out this thing?
You're struggling, boy. You're struggling.
How you leave this podcast?
Like, what's going on right here? We gotta press
I'm trying to leave. Anthony, you will be the last one on. Get him out of here.
You log off.
I'm trying. You're down.